I'm going to do some stand-up, and as I've been repeatedly cautioned, I've been told that my language should be child-friendly, so I'm going to do my best to be child-friendly. Hello, kids. Do you want any candy? There's a lot in the back of my van. Okay, someone actually... It's a nice way to start comedy. It's pure terror. But let's not waste time, because, time is constantly ticking. And, we are inevitably all going to die. Some of you are all right. You're all young. You're fine. Some of you are halfway there. And some of you are busy. Pardon my French. And then those of you without an extensive knowledge of French swear words, please look it up on Google Translate, making sure there are no kids in the room. Time. There are loads of things I want to do before I die. For example, that countdown presenter, when he dies, I want to go up to him and just go, da-da-da-da-da. Which is evil. And, some of you might disagree with making fun of death, because, sometimes things do happen where you just feel sad and you realise that death is imminent. For example, my grandfather, he was on a packed train, and he had a stroke. And now the police are after him for sexual assault. There we go. Right. Didn't motivate me. Public transport, some of them's rubbish. For example, I was going on the train, and it passes over this station for 2 weeks. And I wondered why it was passing over it, and then I heard the announcement, apparently the down escalators are broken. Now, that's not really a reason to shut a station. But then I realised that's actually quite selfish, because there are people who need down escalators, like people with disabilities, wheelchairs, they can't really use the stairs. So I thought, oh, that's a problem. So, I thought, fair enough, and went to the next station. Then it was fixed 2 weeks later, and I got there, and what have they done? They've changed the escalator into stairs, which actually doesn't help. What happens to the disabled people? And then they've got an announcement going, London Underground in their knowledge have an announcement going which says, well, could all passengers who cannot board go downstairs? There are no downstairs within the station. Please go to the next station. Which basically says, if you have a disability, jog on, wheel on. Well, I probably shouldn't say that, because people already think I'm quite offensive to disabled people. Because yesterday I was walking like this, and people thought I was making fun of disabled people. What they didn't know was that I'd stepped on a turd. And time passes quite quickly sometimes. Sometimes it passes slowly, especially if you don't have anything to do. But I have a hobby, I do train spotting. But I was stopped recently because apparently London Underground don't like their trains polka-dotted. Okay, but and from dots, I don't know what big connection, but I need to make a connection here. Spots versus stripes. The Cadbury Spots versus stripes. Have you heard of it? That thing challenge. I really don't know what that's all about, really, because it's got spots and stripes. That's got nothing to do with chocolate. It has to be something to do with chocolate, like types of chocolate. Cadbury's, blacks versus whites. That's a pretty good title. But that's sort of not really allowed in the politically correct world, and things are developing. But there are also things that are getting worse. There are people who are unhappy. There are problems that come with the modern world, like sources of energy. And do we go for the windmill or do we go for the nuclear power plant? We'll give the nuclear power plant. A safety inspector came to the nuclear power plant the other day. Gave us a glowing report. And other things that come with the new time, technology. And on the train, I actually saw a baby. This is completely for real. I saw a baby, 3-year-old, in a buggy with an iPhone. I don't know what he's doing. He's just moving it around like this. When I was, and it made me feel so old, because I thought, what's wrong with kids these days? When I was that age, I was happy with a Lego block. I'd go like, oh, it's got bumpy on one side, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 5 sides. Oh no, there's a 6th side. My mind is blown. And now this whole technology thing, you know, it doesn't just infiltrate the technology place, it's also got into the real world. Because I was talking to a friend in our school and he was like, oh, do you do paper messenger during class? And I'm thinking, what is this paper messenger? He goes, could you explain it to me? He goes, basically you get a piece of paper and you write on it and you pass it around the class. That's not messenger, that's just writing on a piece of paper. That's been invented before. Messenger. What's wrong with this? You don't draw something and then rub a bit out and add it on and go, this is like paper Photoshop. You don't do that. But you know, there are good things that come with the new liberal age. You know, it's more, as I say, it's more liberal. And my parents are quite liberal. My mum's like, you know, she's like, oh, I can accept you if you're gay, it's alright, you can come out if you're gay. And then there's a sort of limit of liberal there, because she goes on to say, if you're gay, I will accept you. And I'm thinking, you know, do I have to be gay? What is this? You want me to be gay? And I'm just thinking, what happens if I bring a fiance, if I'm going to be married or something? Father, mother, this is the lovely young lady I want to marry. Straight man in my family? No way. Dad, you're straight, you're married to mother. Your mother? We're not straight, your mother's a man and you're adopted. Thank you for listening. Thank you, I've been Mafuyu and I hope to continue to be Mafuyu, and I'll now pass you on to an artist much more talented than me.